On this episode of the Crush the Rush podcast and episode 4 of our Planning Your Algorithm series, we are chatting about how to plan an entire month of content in just 2 hours, which is without endless scrolling or overthinking. And so in 2025, content planning is so much easier when you use AI and a smart repurposing strategy to do the heavy lifting for you. So in this episode, we are breaking down the exact process I use to map out 1 month of content fast, how to plan content around one revenue goal per month for more sales, the one and done method to repurpose content effortlessly, and how tools like ChatGPT and Google Gemini can brainstorm and streamline your content for you. Plus, we're introducing you to Clara, our AI-powered assistant inside Antisocial School, so you can create content in half the time with twice the impact. So if you want a plug and play content plan built for you, of course, listen to this episode, but you could also meet Clara inside Antisocial School and she'll map out your monthly content strategy so you don't have to. You can just go to hollymariehaynes.com/antisocial. You can also catch up on the series. We have episode 1, which is the social media burnout epidemic, episode 2, which is more money, less posting, and episode 3, your dream clients are on Google, not Instagram. So I can't wait for you to listen to this week's episode. Welcome back to our next episode of Beyond the Algorithm. This is actually episode 4 in the series. And today we're talking about the antisocial strategy, which is how to plan a month of content without the scroll. Sign me up. This is a game changer. So let's be honest. How many times have you sat down to plan content only to end up in a deep internet rabbit hole where you are scrolling, reorganizing Canva files, and like stalking somebody from 2015, and you're like, oh man, how did I get here, right? So content planning should not take all day, and it doesn't have to. So today, I'm going to walk you through my exact process to plan a whole month of marketing in under 2 hours without endless scrolling, overthinking, or wondering, did I already post this? And so we're going to cover the AI hacks that help me map it out fast, how to recycle content across platforms so you don't have to start from scratch, and why planning around one revenue goal a month, which you've heard me talk about before, will change your life, and my one and done content method that makes repurposing effortless. And because you know that I'm always looking out for you, but also I really, truly believe in what we teach inside Antisocial School. It's our signature 8-week program where we teach you how to scale without relying on social media. We are handing you in Antisocial School our plug and play content assistant. She is new. She is part of Principal Page's AI crew inside Antisocial School, which I mentioned in an earlier episode. And her name is Clara. Clara is our new AI-powered content strategist. We've been testing her out in the club, and now she sits in Antisocial School, and she will plan your monthly content for you, like using this exact strategy. And your mind will be blown. Like, I have clients that literally message me every week, and they're like, I cannot believe this. So before I get too distracted and decide to redo and create more bots, right? Let's talk about what we're here to talk about, and that is how to plan content. But if you really want to jump to the good part, go to hollymariehaynes.com/antisocial. All right. So step 1, one of the biggest content planning mistakes that I see is creating content just to create it. So you're like, oh, I saw Sally post something on social, I should post something. Or Holly said I need to create an email, so I should send an email this week. And so one shift that I want you to make that will save you hours is every single month, pick one revenue goal, right? One revenue goal, or one goal of like what you're going to launch, what you're going to talk about. There needs to be an end goal. And then each week, I want you to create one long form piece of content that supports that. So, for example, if my goal this month is to sell spots inside Antisocial School, my monthly or weekly content might look like week 1, why is social media burnout killing your business? Why they need a better system. Hint, that was episode 1. Week 2, how to make more money while posting less. Why they need this course, which is episode 2. You already heard it. Week 3, how to get clients without social media and how the program teaches that, which we sort of talked about last week a little bit. And then week 4, how to plan a month of content without the scroll, which is what we're talking about today. So you can see how it all connects. And if you are following my launch process right now, you can see this episode turn to life in an email, turn to life in a repurposing strategy where we're putting on LinkedIn, blog posts, social. You will see this repurposed 100 times over. But you can see how it all connects, right? My content this month has a purpose. It leads to sales, not just engagement, which is what I want you to think about. What is your goal for the month and how does your content tie back to it? So this brings me to how do you actually plan the content in less time than what it's taking you now, right? So we'll say under 2 hours. So here's a 2025 marketing hack that will change your life. AI is your content assistant, not your replacement. So go ahead and write that down. AI is your content assistant, not your replacement. So AI tools like ChatGPT or Google Gemini can automate content outline. So you're never starting from a blank page, but you don't want to let AI take over, right? So my golden rule that you have heard me say multiple times now is AI helps, but your human voice is what makes people buy. So what do I use AI for? Brainstorming content ideas, which we chatted about based on maybe what's trending, generating outlines for posts and blogs and scripts and transcripts, and repurposing content, which we talked about last week. So I always go back, no matter what, and add in personal stories, opinions, and voice because people do not connect with robot-generated content. If you see skyrocket, which I'm sure I said it at the beginning until I realized that everyone was saying it, right? They're not going to connect with that. They want to connect with you and the words that you're using. So really take that to heart when you're thinking about how to use AI tools to plan your content. So now let's talk about how to make one piece of content work across multiple platforms. The great thing is you can recycle content so you don't have to start from scratch every time. But if you're creating content from scratch every single time, you are working way too hard. So we're going to fix that, right? Here's how one piece of content can do all the heavy lifting for you. Number 1, we talked last week, start with a long form piece of content, a podcast, a YouTube, a video, a blog, and then break it down like this. Transcribe it into a blog post so it ranks on Google, turn it into a Pinterest pin so it works on evergreen content, repurpose it into an email campaign so your subscribers see it, and then use it as a script for a YouTube short or an Instagram carousel. So you don't have to create new content for social. This very podcast episode will be turned into a blog. It's going to be shared on my email list. We're going to share the takeaways on Pinterest as pins. It's going to be made into an Instagram carousel. It will also be made into an Instagram reel. And just for fun, we make it into 2 reels, one using B-roll with text over top of it, and another one where it's me talking, recording in my office, right? So one and done. Hopefully, out of all of the episodes, you are hearing that content creation should be easy because you've got a strategy and you've got a plan in place. And so let's get into the exact repurposing method, right? This is the one and done content method that makes repurposing effortless. So if you've ever thought or heard me talk, because I talk about it a lot, Holly, I do not have time to show up on 5 different platforms, then this is for you. Number 1, I always say start small. Don't start with 5 different platforms, start with 1. But create the long form pillar content first, right? Pick one main piece of content that you love. And then this is your foundation that stems into everything else. And then your step 2 is to break it into micro content. Micro content would be an email, a Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the things that we've shared. If this is new to you, pick one main form of content and an email and maybe an Instagram carousel. Don't pick 7 or 10. Pick 1. And then you can add on as you get better, because the last step is you want to automate it and schedule it. So we use Metricool, which I've talked about on this podcast before. So we can schedule our carousel posts, we can schedule our LinkedIn posts, we can schedule our Pinterest posts, we can schedule our YouTube posts. I do not have to open my app to be visible. It's there and I don't have to do anything. I have templates that I use. So every single week we have a process where the podcast comes out on Monday. The same Instagram post that matches that comes out on the same time. The reel comes out the next day. The second reel comes out on Wednesday. It is all scheduled in a way where I don't have to open anything and it still works, right? So the goal is more impact, less effort. And inside Antisocial School, we are making this even easier. So I got a little excited about Clara at the beginning, but Clara is part of Printable Pages AI crew. And so every module inside Antisocial School now has an AI assistant. And so Clara is your AI content planning assistant. And so if you're listening to this and you're like, well, this sounds amazing, but like, what do I actually do? Enter Clara. So inside Antisocial School, we're giving you Clara, and she's a plug and play content assistant who will plan your monthly content for you. Now, like I said, crap in is crap out. And so there are some questions that Clara will ask you. We're going to ask you your goals and your strategy and your words and how you talk and all the things. And then Clara is going to spit out your plan using this framework. Like we have programmed her to use this exact framework. So Clara is going to help you figure out what your goal is, and then she will map out a month of marketing to match, which is just, it's mind-blowing. Like the things that our clients have created with this is just so cool. So you can grab Clara and all of her friends at hollymariehaines.com/antisocial. And your homework this week is I want you to create a content repurposing schedule. When are you writing your long form content? When are you repurposing it and when are you scheduling it? I want you to do the work and think about when is the schedule and how are you following it? And then last but not least, next week, we're talking about our social free sales plan, which is how to make money without relying on Instagram. So I can't wait. I hope you are enjoying this series and I will see you next week.